Charlotte's name flashes on my phone for the 5th time today. I watch it vibrate against my glass desk, a world away from the scratched oak table where I grew up. Manhattan's skyline glitters beyond my window, 33 floors up from the suburban Connecticut home where I learned to make myself invisible. I hover over ignore. The phone falls silent, but another text appears. Audrey. Call me now. It's urgent. My stomach knots as I scan her messages about her most important weekend ever and how I never support her. A voicemail follows. Audrey, it's Charlotte. My engagement party is this weekend and Nate's family is coming. Mom said you'd help with costs since you have that boring job. Call me back now. A bitter laugh escapes me. I open my desk drawer and touch my Yale diploma, 3 years hidden rather than displayed because old habits die hard. Mother texts, please call your sister. She's getting hysterical. Charlotte's 2-week engagement extravaganza is highlighted in angry red on my calendar, endless celebrations for the golden child. I check my banking app, $278,942 in savings. More than enough to never need their handouts. They just don't know it yet. A memory surfaces, 8th grade, clutching my national mathematics competition certificate. Mom barely looked up from her magazine. That's nice, honey. Did you remember the trash? That same night, the living room erupted for Charlotte's fashion show participation. She owned that runway. Dad beamed while I sat invisible on the stairs, certificate crumpled in my fist. Junior year, state science fair, 1st place. Empty chairs where my parents should have been. They'd gone to Charlotte's cheerleading competition instead. Then senior year, my Yale acceptance with full scholarship. My hands trembled reading it in secret. Yale. Mom frowned when I finally told them. Charlotte might feel bad when she's just attending state. Dad didn't look up. You're staying local. End of story. I negotiated to live at State University dorms, but 2 weeks later boarded a train to Yale with everything I owned, leaving a carefully crafted paper trail of lies. My first real independence. Now I stand before my mirror, no longer that invisible daughter. My reflection shows someone they wouldn't recognize, confident, successful, unburdened by their approval. I trace my fingers over my Yale diploma. Audrey Bristol, risk analyst, $250,000 annual salary. I email my assistant about taking personal days and requesting family loan documentation from legal. Time they finally see me, I whisper, packing methodically and tucking my financial portfolio between clothes. My friend Kimberly calls, you sure about this? Your family has a talent for making you feel 2 inches tall. I need to do this, I reply. They have no idea what's coming. My rental car crunches over familiar gravel. I park behind florists unloading elaborate arrangements. My childhood home has transformed into a bridal magazine spread. Mother opens the door, her honey blonde hair perfect. Her eyes quickly assess my designer coat. Audrey, finally. Her hug feels mechanical. That's a nice coat. Sale. Inside, every surface is an engagement party staging area. Father emerges, reading glasses perched on his nose. He nods dismissively. Good, you're here. These gift bags need arranging. He thrusts a clipboard at me. Charlotte needs these done by 4. I just walked in, Dad. And now you have something useful to do. Charlotte appears, phone pressed to her ear. I specifically requested peonies with roses. This is literally ruining everything. When she descends, she air kisses near my cheek. Audrey, thank God. The caterer is threatening to quit. Nice to see you too, Charlotte. Nate's planning an amazing surprise. His family has connections everywhere. Her fiancé, Mother supplies. He's absolutely wonderful, such a brilliant entrepreneur. Real estate visionary, Charlotte corrects proudly. Dad's already investing in his newest project. Nathaniel Gray arrives at 6:30, carrying expensive wine, his smile not reaching his eyes. He's tall with polished handsomeness straight from a luxury watch ad. The mysterious sister appears. He grips my hand too firmly. Charlotte mentioned you do something with numbers in the city. Risk analyst, I correct, maintaining uncomfortable eye contact. Sounds technical. He winks. I'm working with hedge fund guys on revolutionary property development. We should talk sometime. During dinner, Nate dominates with tales of exclusive investments. Father hangs on every word like a starstruck teenager. Which development projects have you completed successfully? I ask during a pause. Nate's smile freezes. Various properties. Very selective about investors. And your company's registered where? We maintain a flexible structure. Partners in Miami, Vancouver, Dubai, keeps things nimble. Father shoots me a warning look. Audrey, not everyone wants to be interrogated during dinner. Later, I found refinancing paperwork in my father's study, dated 3 weeks ago. The house now carries a substantial new mortgage. Voices drift from the living room. Warren, are you certain about this second mortgage? Mother sounds worried. That's everything from my teacher's retirement fund. Nate has guaranteed 18% returns, but $175,000 seems like so much. You wouldn't understand investments like these, father cuts her off. This is what building real wealth looks like. I calculate the risk factors, second mortgage, retirement savings, emergency fund, all flowing toward Nate's vague venture. He's trouble, Aunt Maggie whispers in the garden the next morning. You see it too. She nods. Your father won't listen. Started ranting about how I've always been jealous. Ellen Jenkins lost her entire divorce settlement in an exclusive opportunity last year that sounds awfully similar. Audrey. My former calculus teacher calls from the gate. I've been following your career. That Yale economics program produced some remarkable analysts. Your paper on risk assessment was brilliant. I freeze. How did you? Unlike your parents, some of us actually pay attention. Maggie pats my hand. For the first time since arriving, I feel seen. Dad, Mom, I need to talk about Nate. What about him? Father doesn't look up from his magazine. I've found concerning inconsistencies in his business claims. His investment promises don't align with market realities. Mother sighs dramatically. Honestly, Audrey, you've always been envious of your sister's happiness. This isn't about envy. His returns don't make mathematical sense. Father finally looks at me, expression hardening. You don't understand business at this level, Audrey. There's intuition involved. Vision. Charlotte enters with Nate, sensing the tension immediately. What's going on? Your sister has concerns about Nate's business. Charlotte's face contorts with anger. Are you serious? You show up after barely visiting for years and immediately try to sabotage the only good thing in my life? Nate places a protective arm around her. Some people just don't understand innovation and opportunity. Risk analysts are trained to see problems, not possibilities. I look at their faces, defensive, dismissive, willfully blind, and realize I've miscalculated. They don't want the truth. They want their comfortable fiction. At the local cafe, my laptop screen reveals Nate's previous business ventures, all dissolved after investor complaints. Same man, different companies. Same charm, different victims. The waitress notices my screen. My sister-in-law lost her condo to a man who looked just like that. Nathan something. My stomach tightens. Gray. Nathaniel Gray. That might be it. Took her down payment and disappeared. Jason Townsend, Nate's former business partner, meets me 2 hours later. He has a gift for making people believe in him. He slides over documents showing a pattern of mismanagement and siphoned funds, with similar stories from other partners. Where have you been all morning? Mother demands when I return. Charlotte's having a meltdown about the party favors. I was researching something important. More important than your sister's engagement party? She thrusts a checklist at me. In the dining room, Charlotte glares at me. The party favor tags have the wrong ribbon color. Where were you? I've been texting for hours. I check my phone. 3 texts, first sent 38 minutes ago. You've always done this, Charlotte sniffles. Disappearing when needed, then showing up to rain on my parade. For 33 years, my existence has both fallen short and been too much. I'm trying to help you, Charlotte. By questioning Nate's business. You just can't stand that I found someone amazing while you're alone with your boring job. The living room falls silent as I present my evidence. Financial records, court filings, and Jason's statement spread across the coffee table. My parents sit stunned. Charlotte perches on the edge of the armchair, cycling between disbelief and fury. This is clearly mistaken identity, Nate says smoothly. I have a common name and look. 3 different business partners in 3 different cities. All with the same experience? Audrey. Father's voice carries a warning. This is absurd, Dad. Look at the pattern of failure and disappearance. Charlotte jumps up, face flushed. I can't believe you'd go this far to ruin my happiness. You've always been jealous. Jealous? I'm trying to protect you and our parents. That's enough. Father stands, face red. You need to leave this house right now. Nate places a comforting hand on my father's shoulder. Warren, it's all right. She's just worried about her sister. Misguided, but coming from a good place. I'm not leaving. I stand my ground, straightening to my full height. And I'm not the same invisible daughter anymore. Silence falls across the room. What are you talking about? Mother asks. I didn't go to State University. I graduated top of my class from Yale. I'm a risk analyst at Morgan Stanley making $250,000 annually. I've been supporting myself completely since 18. Their stunned faces would be satisfying under different circumstances. That's impossible, Father stammers. Check my LinkedIn. Call my office. I've been someone else entirely while you were too busy with your golden child to notice. When he disappears with everything you have, I say quietly, gathering my things, remember that someone tried to warn you. My phone won't stop buzzing. I set it down and pour coffee, watching Manhattan through my window. 3 days after Charlotte's party, the notifications have evolved from angry to desperate. 17 missed calls. 34 text messages. 8 voicemails. The first plays on speaker, Audrey, he's gone. Nate disappeared yesterday. The bank says the transfers were all authorized. The second, the accounts are empty. Everything. Even your mother's pension fund. The third, the police said without evidence of criminal intent, there's little they can do. Please, Audie, we need you. Charlotte's text, you were right. I didn't listen. Please help us. My mentor Irene answers when I call. You sound troubled. They finally believe me about Nate. Now that he's gone with their money. And they want your help. Yes. What are you considering? I press my forehead against the cool glass, watching the city that accepted me when my family couldn't see me. I haven't decided yet. Boundaries aren't walls, Audrey. They're doors you control. I book a flight home, packing only enough for 3 days. Wilting decorations hang in the yard when my cab arrives. Mother opens the door before I knock, aged a decade and 3 days. You came. Her arms hover for a hug I don't step into. Father paces the living room. His eyes linger on my expensive watch. We thought perhaps you might help with financial assistance. Until we sort this out. What will everyone at the club think? Mother wrings her hands. Charlotte sits curled on the couch in my old Yale sweatshirt, eyes swollen. If you had been more supportive, I might have listened, she says quietly, blame familiar in her voice. I set my handbag down. I can help with some things. Not all. Now, Audrey, as your father. I can help file police reports properly. Contact my colleague who specializes in fraud recovery. Connect you with a specialized lawyer. I tick points off on my fingers. I cannot replace the money you lost. But, Audrey. I earn $250,000 annually. I have substantial savings. And I will not sacrifice my financial security to rescue you from a situation I explicitly warned you about. Father's face reddens. This family has supported you your entire life. A laugh escapes me. Did you? We put a roof over your head. Food on the table. That's the legal minimum, Dad. That's not support. Charlotte uncurls from the couch. So you're just going to abandon us after being right? Is that what matters to you? What matters is being respected. Being heard. You need me now, but you've never wanted me. There's a difference. Mother collapses into a chair. How can you be so cold? I learned from experts. For the first time, they truly look at me, not through me or past me. They see the woman who built herself without their notice. These are my boundaries, I say quietly. I will help you navigate this legally. I will stay 3 days. I will not empty my savings or cosign loans. Those are my terms. Father starts to speak, stops, then tries again. When did you become this person? When you weren't looking. I've been this person all along. Father paces the living room, trying to regain his authority. As the head of this family, I've always made decisions with everyone's best interests at heart. This situation requires a united front. I sit perched on the edge of the armchair where I once made myself small. Not anymore. Mother twists her hands. Blood is thicker than water, Audrey. You've always thought you were better, Charlotte says, her voice cracking. I check my watch. They've been at this for 32 minutes. The coordinated pressure. The guilt trip. The attempt to make me fold. When I was 10, I say, voice steady, I won the national mathematics competition. You told me you couldn't attend because Dad had an important conference. I saw both your cars at the mall that afternoon with Charlotte, celebrating her participation in a junior fashion show. The silence hangs thick. Junior year, my economic analysis won first place at the state science fair. The ceremony was the same evening as Charlotte's choir concert. You chose the concert without hesitation. Mother's gaze drops to her lap. My college graduation from Yale, neither of you attended because you thought I was at state. Aunt Maggie enters, her voice steady with years of bottled frustration. I've witnessed all of it. Every competition missed. Every achievement dismissed. I watched this brilliant child dim her own light while you showered attention on her sister. I rise from the chair, my full height apparent in this room where I spent years trying to disappear. I'll help with the house. Cover the mortgage payments. Arrange for debt consolidation. Their faces flash with relief. But I won't help with your social standing. I won't pretend Charlotte wasn't taken in by a man whose history any basic due diligence would have revealed as concerning. I won't attend functions where you parade me as the dutiful daughter who swooped in to save the day. Father's jaw clenches. You don't get to dictate terms in my house. I do when I'm the one with the means to save it. From my portfolio, I withdraw 3 copies of a document prepared by my attorney. This outlines the terms of my financial assistance. One-time solution, not ongoing. I'll transfer funds directly to the bank. The consolidation will go through my selected advisor. Page 2 requires an acknowledgement. It states that for years, you consistently favored one child over the other, creating an environment of emotional neglect. Mother gasps. We would never sign such a horrible thing. We loved you both equally. Then I'll leave now, and you can explain to the bank why you can't make next month's payment. Father reaches for his reading glasses with shaking hands. You've become cold and hard. I've become honest. The world didn't break me. Neither did you. But I won't pretend anymore. 12 minutes later, all 3 signatures mark the page. I text my financial advisor and call Ms. Hudson to proceed with arrangements. This isn't negotiable, I say, my tone leaving no room for discussion. I gather my things without ceremony. I hope you find peace with your choices. Aunt Maggie follows me onto the porch. Will you be all right? I already am. I walk to my rental car, back straight. The rearview mirror captures the house growing smaller, but I don't look back. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Some shouldn't be. Sunlight streams through my Greenwich Village brownstone windows. My Yale diploma now hangs prominently on the wall, no longer hidden. My laptop chimes with a call from Maya, a mentee in my program for first-generation women in finance. I used that assertiveness technique you taught me. When they asked why I deserved the position, I didn't downplay my achievements. And? Her smile breaks wide. I got it. You earned it, I correct gently. There's a difference. Tuesday evenings I teach investment literacy to young women. Last week, Jasmine identified red flags and an opportunity targeting her parents. I showed them how the numbers couldn't possibly work, she said, standing taller. Aunt Maggie's update mentions my parents working with the financial advisor and Charlotte continuing therapy. No mention of direct contact. The boundary holds firm. The foundation's reception hall fills with applause as I approach the podium. My mentorship program has been recognized for its impact. I scan the audience. No empty chairs where parents should be. Instead, friends and colleagues who value me for exactly who I am. When I created this program, I thought I was helping others find what I never had. What I discovered was that worth doesn't come from external validation. It grows from within when we truly see and value ourselves. Back home, I finalized the Bristol Visibility Scholarship for overlooked academic achievers. As evening settles, I tend my rooftop garden. I examine a rose bush I pruned drastically last autumn, now growing back more vibrant. Some things grow stronger when cut back, I whisper, surveying the life I've built. Flourishing. Grounded. And finally, completely visible.